Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah. I am going to now begin, inshallah, by reading excerpts from a number of tafasir. In this particular case, if we cut out all the overlap, I'm going to be reading an excerpt from Zamakhshari, Razi, Ibn Kathir, rahimahumullah, Baydawi and Shawkawi. There's a lot of overlaps, I didn't quote them. Abu Hayyan, who I didn't mention, Al-Bahr al-Muhit, his tafsir. Al-Biqai has a really cool comment, and Ibn Ashur has some epic things to say. So we're going to try to get through all of that in this hour, inshallah. To get a taste of what they say, not about the entire ayah, but because of that piece, وَلْيَضْرِبْنَا عَلَى جُيُوبِهِنَّ أو بِخُمُرِهِنَّ عَلى جُيُوبِهِنَّ, that part of the ayah, okay? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Zamakhshari offers us a historical perspective. كانت جيوبهن واسعة تبدو منها نحورهن. The women's front collar opening used to be very wide, and their chest used to be much exposed, and their neck and their jewelry also used to be very exposed in doing so. Nuhur is the upper part of the chest and the lower part of the neck. وَصُدُورُهُنَّ وَمَا حَوَالِيهَا and وَمَا حَوَالَيْهَا, and what is around it too, meaning there were broad shoulder openings too in their dresses. وَكُنَّ يَسْدِنَّ الْخُمُرِ, and they used to let the khumur, the khimar, they used to put it on, they used to let it dangle min wara'ihinna, from where? From behind them. فَتَبْقَى مَكْشُوفًا, so that it would remain exposed in the front. فَأُمِرْنَا بِأَنْ يَسْدِلْنَهَا, and then so they were commanded to let it dangle min قُدَّامِهِنَّ, from in front of them, حَتَّى يُغَطِّينَهَا, and so that they could, until that it would be completely covered of them. وَيَجُوزُ أَنْ يُرَادْ بِالْجُيُوبِ, and it could also be understood that the word juyub here refers to as-sudur. Refers to what then? As-sudur, meaning chests. تَسْمِيَةً بِمَا يَلِيهَا وَيُلَابِسُهَا, is a name given to something that it's associated with, because the Arabs do that a lot. They talk about something with association. So cover this means cover all of it, basically, right? So cover the entire chest. وَمِنْهُ قَوْلُهُمْ نَاصِحُ الْجَيْبِ, and this is why they say as a figure of speech, نَاصِحُ الْجَيْبِ, someone who means well in the jayb, in the chest cavity, actually means someone who has a good heart and a good chest, meaning there's a good person. وَقَوْلُكَ ضَرَبْتُ بِخِمَارِهَا عَلَى جَيْبِهَا كَقَوْلِكَ ضَرَبْتُ بِيَدَيَّ عَلَى الْحَائِطِ, and you saying ضَرَبَ, the verb ضَرَبَ with a ba, ضَرَبْتُ بِالْخِمَارِ, like the ayah says, وَضْرِبْنَا بِخُمُرِهِنَّ, right? عَلَى جُيُوبِهِنَّ بِخُمُرِهِنَّ. So because of the ba there, what is the benefit of that ba? He says it's the same as saying ضَرَبْتُ بِيَدِي عَلَى الْحَائِطِ, I put my hand on the wall, but actually means I leaned on the wall and I really reclined on the wall and I really put my hand. Tabai is here used for mubalagha, and I kept my hand there. للإلصاق, as we will see. إذا وضعتها عليه وعن عائشة رضي الله تعالى عنها ما رأيت نساء خيرا من نساء الأنصار. Aisha رضي الله عنها also narrates, we'll come back to this, ضربت with بيدي على الحائط in a sec in the next tafsir. ما رأيت نساء خيرا من نساء الأنصار. I've never seen a woman, or I've never seen women better than the women of the Ansar. لما نزلت هذه الآية, when this ayah came down, قامت كل واحدة منهن إلى مرتها المرحل. Every one of them took a matter in her own hands about her hair that was all over the place. Meaning the Ansari women, some of their hairstyles were a bit frizzy and all over the place, like they had a lot of volume in their hair apparently. So فَصَدَعَتْ مِنْهُ صُدْعَةً, so they cut locks of it so they could contain it. So they tried to put the khimar on and it wouldn't fit because the hair was like situation. So they started cutting off the voluminous parts of their hair so they can cover it. فَاخْتَمَرْنَا فَأَصْبَحْنَا كَأَنَّ عَلَى رُؤُوسِهِنَّ الْغِرْبَانِ. So they cut it, and then when they put the khimar on finally, it looked like there was a crow sitting on their head. Like that's what they looked like, but they did it because they didn't care. They wanted to fulfill the ayah. So he says, I've never seen women that could do that to themselves, just because they want to fulfill the ayah. Right? What a beautiful expression, subhanAllah. They must have been helping each other cut, and it's a crazy scene. So now we'll read something from Razi. What we learn from Zamakhshari here is the narration that's repeated by many mufassirun, that the women did tie their hair, cover it, but let the rest of the khimar dangle in the back. But now that it comes in the front, the ears were covered, and the Prophet ﷺ specified like this in a narration that we'll come to read soon, inshallah. Now we'll read something from Razi. أما قوله وَلْيَضْرِبْنَ بِخُمُرِهِنَّ عَلَى جُيُوبِهِنَّ فَالْخُمُرُ واحدها خِمَارٌ, that the khumur, the singular of it is khimar. قال المفسرون إن نساء الجاهلية كنا يشددن خمرهن من خلفهن وإن جيوبهن كانت من قدام فكان ينكشف نحورهن وقلائدهن. Their chests were exposed, and so their pendants and necklaces were exposed too. They like to wear jewelry that they like to show off, and it used to be right at the chest where they would do so, and that's why they kept the chest or the front of their outfits exposed. فأمرنا أن يضربن بمقانعهن يضربن مقانعهن على الجيوب ليتغطى بذلك أعناقهن. So they were commanded to do so so they could cover their necks ونحورهن and the upper part of their chest وما يحيط به من شعر وزينة and whatever it surrounds with any hair and other forms of beautification من الحلى, which means from any kind of jewelry, so earrings and things like that. So you'll find some modern expressions of hijab are like that sort of thing, and then there's like big old earrings and stuff. Well, the original khimar covered the ears. It covered the ears, okay? في الأذن والنحر وموضع العقدة منها, and so the ears and the neck and any part in between that's connected. وفي لفظ الضرب مبالغة في الإلقاء وبالباء للإلصاق. So he says there are two expressions of hyperbole, of emphasis in the expression. One is by using the word ضمر or ضرب, as opposed to واختمرنا وليختمرنا, اختمر يختمر اختمار, or تخمر يتخمر تخمر بلا خمارا. But instead of using the word اختمار and تخمر, he used what? ضرب. So he says using the word ضرب itself is a kind of mubalagha. Then using ضرب, you don't typically use a ba with it. You don't use a ba with it. So you could say وَلْيَضْرِبْنَا خُمُرَهُنَّ عَلَى جُيُوبِهِنَّ. But Allah used ba with it. So the darab and the ba, two forms of mubalagha. I won't explain what those mubalaghas do until the very end because it's really juicy. What those two mubalaghas do in this ayah. Okay. Ibn Kathir, just some summarization of what he has to say. Women used to wear provocative low-cut outfits with jewelry, earrings, and their hair let loose. And especially they had this style of forehead hair showing, dhawa'ibu sha'r. They call it, the forelocks over here. They used to let some hairs dangle here. وَأَقْرِطَتْ آذَانِهَا, and earrings, big earrings. They had a habit of doing this in the company of men. كانت المرأة منهن تمر بين الرجال مصفحة بصدرها. She used to walk around exposing herself, the front of herself like that. There's an important statement of Sa'id ibn Jubair that I wanted to quote from Ibn Kathir also. On this ayah, he says, على النحر والصدر فلا يرى منه شيء. فلا يرى منه شيء. Meaning, when Allah says, وَلْيَضْرِبْنَا بِخُمُرِهِنَّ عَلَى جُيُوبِهِنَّ, that the neck and the chest, none of it should be seen. That's how it's understood when it's dropped in front. None of it should be seen. Because the jayb, it starts here and goes all the way down. So this part of it is already covered in the word khimar. Because the lower part of the face is covered in the khimar already. And then the rest of it is covered in the phrase عَلَى جُيُوبِهِنَّ. Okay? Then a narration about the women, another narration about the reaction of women. This is in Bukhari. حدثنا أحمد بن شبيب حدثنا أبي عن يونس عن ابن شهاب, and the narrators go on and on until finally عائشة رضي الله تعالى عنها قالت يرحم الله نساء المهاجرات الأول. May Allah show mercy to the women of the muhajirin, the women muhajirat. The previous one was about the ansar. This one's about the muhajirat, the migrant Meccan women. لما أنزل الله وَلْيَضْرِبْنَ بِخُمُرِهِنَّ عَلَى جُيُوبِهِنَّ, that they should take their head cover and draw it over their chest. شَقَقْنَ مُرُوطَهُنَّ, they took their aprons and started tearing them open. فَاخْتَمَرْنَ بِهَا, and made the khimar out of them. وقال أيضا حديثا, and a few narrators later, أن عائشة رضي الله تعالى عنها كانت تقول لما نزلت هذه الآية وَلْيَضْرِبْنَ بِخُمُرِهِنَّ عَلَى جُيُوبِهِنَّ أخذنا أزرهن, their dresses, not just their aprons, their dresses. فشققناها من قبل الحواشي, from the very ends, some extra cloth on the ends of the dress. They started cutting all of that up. فاختمرن بها, and they put their khimars on. In another narration, there were women actually cooking food. And the ayah was being recited and they heard it out their window and they started tearing aprons and putting it on right then and there. Like they didn't even finish, let me finish cooking, I'm in my house right now. Because they didn't know if it's inside the house or outside. They didn't know. They're like, you can't be in trouble. So just did it right then and there. SubhanAllah. Abu Hayyan, وفي قوله وَلْيَضْرِبْنَ بِخُمُرِهِنَّ عَلَى جُوبِهِنَّ دليل على أن الزينة ما يعم الخلقة وغيرها. This is the interesting commentary by Abu Hayyan. He says that because Allah says twice, cover your beauty, and in between put Especially draw the veil over your chest. Allah is saying that there is beauty that is not just limited to that, there's beauty beyond that too. So mentioning that phrase twice means, yes, you've done this part, but there's more to do. There's other aspects of your beauty. Now, what are those other aspects of the beauty? This is a good time to bring that up. Your personality, your humor, your laughter, your giggle, this is part of your zina, part of a woman's zina. A husband, for example, can say, well, you look really ugly when you're frowning, but you look amazing when you're smiling. Oh my God, it melts me when you smile. A husband says that to his wife. A smile is very attractive. So that's part of her zina. Her laughter may be very attractive. That's part of her zina. Her comfort level, maybe her lack of seriousness, her joking, her demeanor, her casual nature. That's part of her zina. So zina has a physical aspect to it, but also behavioral aspects to it that have to be considered. So he's saying, look, there's other aspects of your zina that you have to cover. So what if you're like so covered, you can't even, you don't know who's or what's in there, but you're like all chummy with the gang, then there's a problem. That's a problem. You have to draw certain lines of formality. So but the main thing, the physical appearance, is what's covered in the ayah, and then the rest of it is covered in وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ. Some parts of it are obvious. For example, some sister has a really loud laugh, and something made her laugh, and she's like, ha ha! And okay, she can't help herself. It's her thing, Well, there are some things that are within your personality, but there are some things that you have to try to control and kind of cut down on, Like I told you, with my girls, the thing I fear most for them is their laughter. I fear for it, man, because I tell them, don't laugh. Like they can't help themselves. Yeah. Even when I'm not telling a joke, I'm like, girls, I don't want to hear anybody laugh. Like it's just. But that's a problem. Because, for a young boy, like 17, 18-year-old, 16-year-old, 15-year-old even, he hears a couple of girls laughing. It's like, you ever seen like a squirrel? That's like in one place. It's in one place, and then something happens and it goes. Like that sudden, that happens, the squirrel thing happens to boys when they hear like the voice of a woman, and especially the laughing voice of a woman, or the smile of a woman, or whatever. Something happens. Their presence has a ripple effect on young men. Men in general, but young men especially. It has a ripple, like something turns in their brain, in our brain. Something changes. We become aware all of a sudden. The world changes around us. We get distracted. Nothing else matters for a few seconds. Our universe comes to an end. It happens. This could happen even if you just hear the heels of a woman's, she's wearing high heel shoes and clop, clop, clop. You just hear that and something happens. You don't even realize it, you just kind of looked. A car accident happened, you didn't look. But you heard a couple of heels clopping. So anyway, about the ayah, it'll just happen. And you don't even know how that happened. What was that? You hear a little bit of jewelry. You smell a little bit of perfume. From the corner of your eye, you see colors that no man would ever wear. At least not in Texas. Yet. I goes over there. It's a thing. Their presence has an effect. And it's something Allah put inside men. It's a part of who we are. We have to learn to control it. Your wife will tell you, why can't you control it? Why can't you just be normal? Why do you have to have? Sorry. It's there. And we'll never understand them. Because Allah didn't make us them. And they'll never understand this side. They can't. They can say, you people are so stupid. You don't get anything. Why is it so hard for you? And when they have a problem, you say, why can't you just do that? You wouldn't understand. Try me. You wouldn't understand. Then they explain and you say, I don't understand. They're two different creatures. So you can look down on the other, but that won't change who they are. Allah already said, Some sisters even came to me and said, why are men so hormonal? I was like, because Allah made them that way. It is what it is. It is, Allah said it, and these things are placed there. You know, and this ayah is about women, but the previous ayah when Allah said يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ يَغُضُّ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُم, what was that about? Why even start with that? We got issues. You know, and that's a spiritual battle we have to fight. I'm telling you one thing, guys, just from personal experience. You win that battle and everything else is easy. And you don't win that battle, nothing else matters. And especially in our times. That is the battle. You can win that battle, boy, you'll learn to spend your time more wisely, you will pray better, you will learn better, your attention span will go through the roof, you will have more respect for yourself, others will have more respect for you. Marriage proposals will start coming left, right, and center. You won't have to worry about it because you stop worrying about it, because then Allah takes over. If you're already married, then you'll be better at your marriage. Huh? No, it doesn't end when you get married. No, only teenagers make those jokes. Because they're anyway. Wife. It's dumb. Figure out what it means to have one wife. Then you'll know it's not a good idea. منعهن من إظهار محاسن خلقهن فأوجد سترها بالخمار. The second point Abu Hayyan makes is he forbade them from exposing one of the most beautiful aspects of themselves that men find attractive, so he covered to cover that with khimar. You know, the Prophet ﷺ would describe specific punishments for women who don't cover their chests properly. So this is something Allah put inside men, an attraction towards women and certain parts of their body. And that's why in the ayah later on, Allah openly talks about it. There are some kids who haven't realized it yet, who don't stare, who don't gawk. These girls are ew still. You know, الطفل الذي لم يظهروا من على عورات النساء. Kids who haven't developed those kinds of feelings yet. You know, those kids, fine, you can be around them, no problem. You know, well, we'll talk about that probably next week when we get to that part of the ayah. We're not going to be done with that this week. But, you know, there are certain things that men find attractive that Allah put inside of us. It's the animal part of ourselves. There's a spiritual part of ourselves. There's an animal part of ourselves. We're a balance of all of those things, right? And those things are not allowed to lead the way. So cover that part of yourself. وفي السنن لأبي داود أنه عليه السلام قال, in the Sunan of Abu Dawud, Rasul صلى الله عليه وسلم says, يا أسماء إن المرأة إذا بلغت المحيض لم يصلح أن يرى منها إلا هذا. He said, Ya Asma, when a woman reaches the age of mahid, when she starts having her cycles, لم يصلح أن يرى منها, it's not good for her that anything of her should be seen except this. And he said the word هذا, اسم الإشارة. وأشار إلى وجهه وكفيه, he pointed to his face and his hands. So this is why from this hadith and others like it, then the discussion came about should niqab be included in this conversation, shar'an or not, as part of the sharia or not, right? وقال ابن خويز من that, this is again representative of many scholars' opinions. إذا كانت جميلة وخيفة من وجهها وكفيها الفتنة فعليها ستر ذلك. If she's beautiful and she's afraid that her face and her hands are even they're so awesome that men just kind of have car accidents, then she should cover those. Then that's an opinion on top of just as a protective precaution. Then you can call this maybe moral advice above and beyond that. Okay? وَلْيَضْرِبْنَا. Now let's talk about Biqa'i. We're getting close to the end, inshallah. Al-Biqa'i's commentary now. وَهُوَ وَضْعُ الشَّيْءِ بِسُرْعَةٍ. Daraba is used when you put something quickly, when you draw something up quickly. So I'm dropping hints. There's emphasis and there's speed. There's emphasis and speed so far, but I'll tie it all together towards the end. وَيُقَالُ ضُرِبَ فِي عَمَلِهِ أَخَذَ فِيهِ. أو أخذ فيه. They say also ضرب في عمله as an expression, meaning someone was caught up in it. So the third thing is to take something seriously, to be involved in it, to not take it lackadaisically. ضرب is used when you take a matter seriously. There's a figure of speech Biqai cites. He says, ضرب الليل بأوراقه, the night cast over with all of its leaves, meaning imagine that the entire dark night is just a bunch of black leaves. And so they all came and invaded the sky and it became a black night, right? So it's just a bunch of leaves that are covering up the entire light of the night. It's a figure of speech takes to illustrate how seriously the night takes over. And it's alluding, going back to seriousness and commitment. They say al-layl darib, as one of the names of a dark night is layl darib. الذي ذهبت ظلمته يمينا وشمالا وملأت الدنيا. A night in which the left and right, wherever you see, the darkness is completely spread and covered the entire world. Meaning it's an intense night that is completely overshadowing. The يضربن بخمورهن, meaning make sure it's covered from all angles. Take care of it. Okay, so take it seriously, be serious about it, be quick and vigilant about it. And make sure it completely invades. The hijab is completely covered. You know, there are some sisters whose life struggle. Oh, no. I got to hold that till the end. وَالضَّارِبْ الطَّوِيلْ مِنْ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ وَالْمُتَحَرِّكِ. And a darib is used for everything that is long term. Darib is daraba as a fi'l, for fa'ala is used for something that's long term and something that remains active. So al-mutaharrik minhu. Right? So long term and active. Well, I can't wait to tie all of this together, but I'll have to wait a little bit. كأنه اختير لفظ الضرب إشارة إلى قوة القصد للستر. Might as well just tie it together now. It is as though the word was chosen to indicate how strong one's motive has to be to cover. وإشارة إلى العفو. So epic. And it's also to give an indication of Allah's forgiveness. عما قد يبدو. In regards to what might be exposed, عند تحرك الخمار, because of the movement of the khimar, وعند مزاولة شيء من العقل, and when you just kind of become unconscious. Some sisters have a struggle in life, and their struggle in life is putting this thing on. There are some girls who can just done. Then there are some girls, poor things. They stand 45 minutes trying to put this on, and it's falling over here, and the hair's gone inside, and it's doing all kinds of things, and now there's hair inside their ear, and how do I know? Is that what you're saying? I have sisters, I have daughters, I have a wife. I know, and it's like, it's killing them. They're driving, and it's hot, and it's sweating, and the hair is starting to come over here. And some sisters are on autopilot. They can stick a phone in here and talk. And they're on autopilot. They got no problems. Khimar is like, I'll put it on right now. And it's like, it's perfect. Then there are some people and they fix it, and they fix it, and they fix it, and they take 2 steps, and bam, bam, bam. And it's just always like, it's always, their hands are always busy with, over here, over here, over here, over here. It's a struggle. يضربنا, the verb is used because it requires something active. In other words, you're constantly going to have to look out, is it in place? Is it, because you're living an active lifestyle, is it in place? Is the khimar where it's supposed to be? Is it covering the way it's supposed to be? And so every time you do it, every time you do a little fix, is an act of ibadah. Because of يضربنا بخمورهن على جيوبهن. Every time. Every little fix, every little tuck, every little put it back in. You know, it looks like I have a goatee and has a little hair coming out, made into my chin. Put it back in now. You know, they have those, every time they do that, every time they fix it, or they're talking and a little bit of it, the little neck started showing here because the pin went like this and it's showing over here. So they realized and they threw it over themselves. Every time they do that, it's an act of ibadah. Every one of them is an act of fulfilling the ayah. Because وَلْيَضْرِبْنَا, to do it over and over and over and over again, is they're engaged in something that pleases Allah. And Allah knew it was going to happen. Allah knew it was going to get messed up. Allah knew it was going to get out of place. Allah knew it was going to need adjustment. So He gave women this thing that every time they do, they get closer to Allah. What you think is annoying? That whole that, every one of them, act of ibadah. How beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? And that the fact that it's going to happen, because darb is used, it's going to happen. You're going to need to do it over and over again. Suggests that Allah is forgiving and He doesn't want perfection. It's okay if you have hijab problems. Allah's not expecting perfection. If you're going to have trouble with it and you're going to struggle with it, that's part of what Allah Azza wa Jal wants, and He finds it beautiful that you do that. وَلْيَضْرِبْنَا بِخُمُرِهِنَّ عَلَى جُيُوبِهِنَّ. SubhanAllah. So it may be because Allah forgave, and perhaps it's an ishara to what Allah forgave because of movement and activity in life. SubhanAllah. So I thought that was really important to share. Then, وَلْيَضْرِبْنَا, so now we understand the benefit of darb, because اختمرنا, يختمرنا, they put it on, it's done. But if they constantly have to hit it, they have to put it on again and again, and then ba to show their seriousness, they're worried about it. They check, is it in place? Is it still okay? Let me take a look. Is it fine? And they're not doing it for fashion reasons, but because they don't want to be inappropriate. So just the fact that they have to go and do a ba again and again and again, ba lil ilsaq wal mubalagha, it's due for commitment to stick to something. Oh man, it's not right. I think it's off. I think there might be some hair showing in the back. I think some hair might have escaped. I can feel it. My head feels lighter. Something happened. You know? So sometimes the hijab is up to here and there's some hair in the back. Hello, hi, I'm here. You know? You're like, oh my God, I go to the sister's bathroom and doing the whole wrestling match again, and you know, all of it covered with the ba here, with the ba, because you're taking it seriously and it's something that you're going to stay on top of. So even daraba without a ba wouldn't cut it. So both emphasizers are there for that purpose. Now, Ibn Ashur in his commentary, he went a little fiqh-licious in the beginning, so I'm just going to skip that part, just say that he was negating Imam Shafi'i's opinion, because Imam Shafi'i said the only exception to not wearing niqab is when you're praying. And he says, وَهُوَ تَخْصِيصٌ لَا دَلِيلَ عَلَيْهِ, there's no dalil for that, meaning it's not part of it. So that it's okay for you to show your face and your palms, that's the majority position. And Imam Shafi'i had an opinion that apparently that you should cover it, and the only time you shouldn't cover it is when you're praying, etc. So he negated that. But that's a fiqh discussion. Now, nuhina an at-tasahuli fil khimra. This is important. They were through this ayah forbidden from being lax about the khimar. In other words, you don't just slap it on and go about your day. You keep on top of it. You stay actively engaged with your khimar and understand that it's, because it'll move from its place. And there are some of those, right? There are some girls, it's like a rebellious hijab situation, right? Like teenage Sunday school girls, you ever see those? They got like a rebellious hijab situation. They got this thing on, and then they'll wear particularly bad clothes the rest of themselves, and then they'll let it dangle, or a little more neck show, or a little something. And you're like, come on, kid, I know what you're doing. Please, I've been around the block. Put it on properly. What? Don't let me get the auntie on you, because if the auntie comes on you, because we got some Jordanian aunts in this masjid, so if they come on you, you won't get up again. Desi auntie will go easy on you, because she got her own issues. But the Jordanian auntie will destroy you. Whew. So don't have tasahul, don't take it easy, don't be lackadaisical about it. Okay. Then وَالضَّرْبُ تَمْكِينُ الْوَضْعِ. And the word darb is used for something that is going to be drop down and put down firmly. Like إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَسْتَحِي أَن يَضْرِبَ مَثَلًا. And darb al-masal is used in the Quran often. Then he again comments, وَالْبَاءُ فِي قَوْلِهِ بِخُمُرِهِنَّ لِتَأْكِيدِ اللُّصُوقِ مُبَالَغَةً فِي إِحْكَامِ وَضْعِ الْخِمَارِ عَلَى الْجَيْبِ زِيَادَةً عَلَى الْمُبَالَغَةِ الْمُسْتَفَادَةِ مِنْ فِعْلِ يَضْرِبْنَا. That the ba in بِخُمُرِهِنَّ is actually to emphasize how you're supposed to stick to it and to hyperbolize the tightness. Ihkam, the tightness of the khimar. Keep it tight, keep it together. To emphasize that. And then to throwing it over the jayb, over the chest cavity, on top of the benefit that already comes with yadribna. In other words, yadribna is there because you have to keep adjusting. The ba is there because it has to be perfect. Or you have to keep making it right. You have to keep it tight. وَالْجُيُوبُ جَمْعُ جَيْبِ بِفَتْحِ الْجِيمِ وَهُوَ طَوْقُ الْقَمِيصِ. We did this before, that the juyub is the plural of jayb, and that's the cavity that's supposed to be in the middle, and so it's covered thereof. So now, just concluding commentary about this phrase, and I'll let you guys go. We have 20 minutes, so I can do a little bit more. Maybe we can do QA, inshallah. But let me finish this commentary, and then we can do some QA. So, in the phrase وَلْيَضْرِبْنَا بِخُمُرِهِنَّ عَلَى جُيُوبِهِنَّ is the specifics of the head cover that goes up till below the chest. Above the stomach, you could say above the belly button, and below the chest, that would be the requirement of khamar. Anything beyond that would meet the requirement and exceed it. So a miqna'a or rida or something like that, that would exceed the requirement, but the linguistic requirement is covered inside the khimar, which actually helps address problems that maybe Muslim physicians and other people in the professional sphere might have, because if they have like a really long scarf, then it can get in the way of surgery and some other things. But it's just right. It's just the length that you're still functional, and it's still covering you modestly. Okay, so that would be the definition of khimar as is found through the Arabic language and the commentary of classical tafsir. I hope that was clear, inshallah. We're not done with the ayah, because we're going to talk about the second وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ, because the second one comes with إِلَّا لِبُعُولَتِهِنَّ أَوْ آبَائِهِنَّ أَوْ آبَاءِ بُعُولَتِهِنَّ, and the rest of them. Why are these people mentioned, and what benefits do that have? And then at the end about young people. And then there's another لَا يَضْرِبْنَ وَلَا يَضْرِبْنَ بِأَرْجُلِهِنَّ, and they shouldn't strike their feet down too hard. In other words, get attention for themselves. And that's not limited to just their feet. Don't do things that draw attention to you. Don't laugh a little extra loud and see if the guy looked. Don't do that. Don't try to get a little extra cute. Some girls do that. They get, when they're growing up, you notice it in kids. They get around some people, or guests come over, they get a little, stop it. We know what you really like. Some girls do that. They become someone else around other people. Their presence affects them so much. And you'll notice it with girls that are siblings, right? So one girl's trying to be all civilized because a guest is over, and the other one's like, she usually beats me up, but she can't right now because she's got to keep up her civilized facade. So I'm just going to, hey, weren't you just picking your nose? No, I really wasn't. Usually it'd be elbow in the face and like, you can pick the blood off of your nose. But not now. But yeah, so there is that like, come to get the attention or to acquire the admiration of someone else. You try to present your best self and things like that. And you'll notice it in young girls. And if it's not controlled, then it'll grow into adulthood and it'll turn into something bad. So that has to be watched out for. And we'll talk about that inshallah when we get towards the end of the ayah. And of course, the most beautiful part of this ayah is the conclusion. Oof, what a conclusion. I don't know of any other ayah that ends like this. There's no ayah in the Quran that ends like this. وَتُوبُوا إِلَى اللَّهِ أَيُّهَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ أَيُّهَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. What do we find in the Quran? أَيُّهَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا تُوبُوا إِلَى اللَّهِ أَيُّهَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. What an ending. And that alone is I'm just left baffled, like, subhanallah. How Allah, who can argue this is not a spiritual ayah? This is not about spirituality. This is not about iman. This is not about the light inside a person. What is tawbah about? What is iflah about? Ayyuhal mu'minun. How does it end? Subhanallah. And you know what's the beautiful thing about this ayah in particular, when it comes to the relationship between iman and the iman is hidden inside the chest. The iman is hidden inside the chest. And the chest is being told to be covered. Is being told, hide it. And then, by the way, al-mu'minun includes who? This is one of the ayah that are proof that the word mu'minun includes men and women. Because Allah didn't use the word mu'minun only for, it's in the ayah which is entirely addressing women. And then ayyuhal mu'minun. Subhanallah. So that the tawbah part is to you together. I already talked to the men in the previous ayah, now he's talking to the women, and then together. The conclusion is together. وَتُوبُوا إِلَى اللَّهِ أَيُّهَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. And what that suggests also is this is going to be a process that men and women will have to work with each other on. A family has to come together and figure this out and come to that tawbah together. So that'll be our final conversation. I'll open it up to QA now, inshallah.